You ever catch your dog just staring at you? Not blinking, not moving, just locked on like you're hiding the secret to life itself. And the strange part? That stare isn't what you think it is. Most of us assume it's all about food. You're holding a sandwich, your dog sits 2 feet away, eyes locked like heat-seeking missiles, and you think, yeah, okay, they just want a bite. But staring is way more than begging. That look is a language, one that goes back thousands of years, hardwired into dogs because it works so well on us. It's communication, it's connection, and sometimes it's pure manipulation. Think about it. Wolves, the ancestors of our pet dogs, didn't exactly have the warmest feelings about staring. In the wild, a long, unbroken stare is aggressive. It's a challenge, the kind of thing that starts fights. So how did we go from "don't look me in the eye unless you want trouble" to "my dog staring at me while I eat chips is the cutest thing ever"? Evolution? Somewhere along the way, certain wolves figured out that locking eyes with humans didn't spark fights. It sparked rewards. Humans tossed food, offered safety, and over generations, those friendlier wolves became dogs. Their stare flipped from a threat into a trust signal. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Modern studies show that when your dog stares at you, both of your bodies release oxytocin, the so-called love hormone. That's the same chemical that strengthens the bond between parents and children. So when your dog's staring you down, it's not just awkward or cute, it's biology. They're hacking your brain chemistry to make you feel closer to them. You think you're just making eye contact with your pet, but really, it's a chemical bonding ritual that neither of you can resist. Dogs are manipulating us, and we love them for it. Of course, not every stare is a hallmark moment of pure love. Sometimes it's just business. That unblinking across the room look, that's the canine equivalent of an alarm clock. They're saying, "Hey human, you know what time it is. Walk. Now." Or maybe it's dinner they're waiting for. Or maybe they're waiting for you to drop a crumb. The stare is multi-purpose, a request, a reminder, or even a demand. Training makes this even sharper. Dogs that go through obedience training are taught to focus on their human's face. Sit, stay, heel. All of it comes from watching closely for cues. That's why when you see a working dog or a competition dog, it looks like they're hypnotized by their handler. They've learned that staring equals instruction, and instruction usually equals reward. It's not weird to them, it's just efficient. So if your dog seems like they're just staring, sometimes it's simply them waiting for direction. But here's where things get entertaining. Sometimes your dog stares at you for reasons that are, let's just say, less noble. Ever wake up in the middle of the night and realize your dog's sitting at the foot of the bed just watching you? It's like living with a furry security camera that doesn't blink. In those moments, it's not about food or playtime. They're just observing. Maybe they heard you stir. Maybe you snored funny. Maybe they're just curious. To them, watching you is stimulation. You move, you breathe, you twitch. That's action. And dogs, especially the smart or energetic ones, are fascinated by action, even if it's as boring as you rolling over in bed. And let's not ignore the comedy in it. Owners project all kinds of meaning onto those stares. My dog is judging me. My dog knows I ate the last cookie. My dog thinks I'm a terrible dancer. The truth? Most of the time, your dog has no idea what you're doing. They're just watching, and you're filling in the blanks. But that's part of the bond. It feels like communication even when no words are exchanged. And that's why the stare works so well on us. There's also the guilt factor. Dogs learn very quickly that staring makes us cave. You can tell them no table scraps, but after 10 minutes of that unrelenting gaze, suddenly you're sliding them a fry. They don't even need to whine. They just sit, look, and wait. Patience is their weapon, and we're not built to resist it. It's why those big round eyes are called puppy dog eyes. Because the act of staring has literally been shaped by evolution to melt our defenses. And speaking of evolution, here's a fun fact. Dogs developed more expressive faces than wolves, specifically because of us. Over time, they gained extra control over their eyebrow muscles, which lets them raise their brows and make their eyes look bigger, sadder, and more human-like. That expression, the one that makes you think they're silently begging or showing deep emotion, is a biological trick designed to tug at your empathy. When they stare with that look, you're practically hardwired to respond. They didn't just inherit this from wolves. They evolved it because humans kept rewarding the dogs who could pull it off best. So when your dog locks eyes with you, eyebrows slightly raised, looking like they've just read a tragic novel, that's evolution weaponized into cuteness. Still, stares aren't always soft or silly. Context is everything. A dog who stares with relaxed body language, soft eyes, maybe a wagging tail, that's connection. A dog who stares with stiff posture, tense muscles, hard eyes, that can be stress, fear, or even aggression. It's not about the stare alone. It's about the whole body. Dogs don't speak with just one signal. They speak with the whole package. You wouldn't judge a text by just one word, right? Same with dogs. And yet, the truth is, most stares from our pets are benign, even loving. Because unlike wolves, dogs figured out that staring isn't dangerous, it's bonding. They use it not just to ask for things, but to build closeness. When your dog is sprawled out across the living room, staring at you while you scroll on your phone, they're not judging your Instagram habits. They're just keeping that invisible thread of connection alive. Think about the last time your dog stared at you when absolutely nothing was happening. No food in your hand, no leash in sight, no squeaky toy around. Just silence. They're on the floor, eyes locked on you like you're the only thing worth watching in the entire universe. That right there is the purest form of it. It's not begging. It's not demand. It's your dog saying, "I like existing near you. Watching you breathe is enough for me." Sounds dramatic, but that's honestly what's happening. And it's funny, because if a stranger did the same thing, sat in the corner of the room and just stared at you without a word, you'd call the cops. But when it's your dog, you melt. It feels different because you know the intention is different. Dogs don't stare to invade your space. They stare to connect. They stare because, for them, it's the closest thing to talking. Now here's the twist. They don't do it with everyone. Dogs aren't out here handing out soulful stares like business cards. They reserve it for the people they trust. Nervous rescues? They often avoid eye contact at first because it still feels threatening to them. Stray dogs? Same deal. Staring is reserved for inner circle humans. That means if your dog looks into your eyes comfortably, you've earned a place that not everyone gets. In their language, that's the ultimate compliment. But that doesn't mean every stare is some profound moment. It has layers. Sometimes it's the love stare, the one where their body is loose, their tail thumps the floor, and you swear they're smiling. Sometimes it's the "I want something" stare, sharp and expectant, usually when you're near the kitchen. Then there's the training stare, that laser focus that looks almost military, where they're waiting for the next cue. And sometimes it's just the weird zoning out stare, where your dog looks like they're running Windows 95 in their brain, and you're the only program open. Each stare feels different once you've lived with them long enough. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Dogs literally evolved to get better at this. Scientists found that dogs develop special eyebrow muscles that wolves don't have. Those muscles let them make expressions that look more human, like raising their brows to make their eyes seem bigger or softer. In other words, puppy dog eyes aren't just cute. They're evolutionary tools. Dogs that could pull off that expression got more attention, more food, and more care from humans, so those traits got passed on. When your dog gives you that stare that makes your heart ache, it's not an accident. It's the result of thousands of years of selective survival. Your dog's face is literally designed to hack your emotions. But context still matters. Staring isn't always positive. If your dog is stiff, their mouth is closed tight, their ears are pinned, and the stare feels hard, that's not affection. That's stress or a warning. Maybe they're guarding something. Maybe they're uncomfortable. That's when the stare isn't about bonding. It's about control. And knowing the difference is important because not all eye contact means the same thing. It's like reading tone in a text message. The words may be the same, but the vibe changes everything. Still, most of the time, those stares are affectionate. And they're part of what makes dogs different from nearly every other animal we live with. Cats? They don't lock eyes to bond. Horses? Same thing. Too much eye contact is usually tension. Dogs are unique in that they've tied eye contact directly to love, trust, and cooperation. That's why it feels so powerful when your dog stares at you. Because it's not just about the present moment. It's about history. It's about the fact that for thousands of years, our species and theirs have been building this silent dialogue, refining it until now. When one look from them can undo your entire resolve. And the funny part? They know it works. Dogs aren't just staring randomly. They've learned that if they look at you long enough, you'll look back. And once you do, the game is theirs. Whether it's affection, a walk, a treat, or just attention, they've got you. We think we're the ones in control, but half the time, that look is them pushing buttons they know will get a reaction. And we respond because we're wired to. You could call it manipulation, or you could call it genius. Either way, it's effective. Even the weird moments, like when you catch your dog staring at you in the bathroom or while you're eating ice cream, are part of this same code. They don't separate important moments from random ones. To them, your presence is always important. They stare because they like you. They stare because they want something. They stare because they're curious. The reason doesn't matter as much as the fact that they choose to look at you. That's the connection. So the next time you feel those eyes on you, don't dismiss it. That look is layered, intentional, and deeply rooted in the bond you share. Sometimes it's practical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's just goofy, but always, it's communication. Your dog may not have words, but in those stares, they're telling you everything you need to know. I trust you. I'm watching you. You're my world. And maybe that's the real reason the stare feels so powerful. Because in a world where attention is scattered, where even humans struggle to give each other full eye contact anymore, your dog is the one being that will sit down, focus, and make you feel like the center of the universe. No distractions, no hidden agenda, just pure, undiluted attention. So yeah, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's guilt tripping, sometimes it's just them waiting for you to finally get off the couch and grab the leash. But more often than not, it's love. Pure, uncomplicated, wordless love. And honestly, that's a pretty good reason to let them stare as much as they want. If you found yourself picturing your own dog while listening to this, give it a like, share it with another dog parent, and drop a comment about the funniest or sweetest stare your pup has ever given you. Because if there's one thing we all know, it's that every dog's stare comes with its own story. And usually, it's a story worth telling.